Hello everyone, good evening, welcome to Roma Theory. I enjoyed yesterday's long stream so much that I'm going to do it again today. I just enjoyed it. As I said, I'm home alone for like 1 week, so I've got more time. My family won't annoy me if I do this. They're nowhere close to where I am right now. So yeah, I mean, it was very fun. Engagement was high. Keep the engagement going. We actually went through a lot of topics yesterday, got opinions of a lot of you guys. So keep the questions going. I like these live streams because I feel like in other videos I never have the chance to interact or ask you guys some questions or you ask me some questions. So in these days where we don't have games after games, yeah, I think it's very useful. So yeah, get the questions going like yesterday. Get the interactions going. We've got a few topics to talk about today. I mean, obviously, some of the topics I'm going to continue from yesterday because I feel like some of them, especially if you guys start pulling out some questions, I definitely think some questions are going to be on, Mourinho's extension, Mourinho's non-extension, future projects. We're also going to talk about Spinazzola and Smalling rumored to potentially leave in January. Now that's big. That is big, unexpected, but they are rumored to potentially leave in January before their contract expires. Yeah, transfer news in general. So we'll get through it. We've got a long night ahead of us. So yeah, get your drinks, get your snacks, and get your questions. Hello, Viola. Welcome. Right. I want to start with Spinazzola and Smalling. In fact, I really do. I want to start with Spinazzola and Smalling because I feel like it's unexpected. I feel like it's one of those rumors which, in my opinion, has been exacerbated by the fact that both of them are constantly injured. And I have a feeling that we are losing patience. When I say we, I have a feeling Mourinho, Thiago Pinto, and the club in general is losing patience. Smalling got injured in at the start of September, and we are here 2 months almost. No, not almost. We are here 2 months after he got injured, and he's still injured. He still feels pain, and the last rumors say that he'll be back in December. If that's the case, I have to agree that you tend to lose patience, and it could be likely that we could sell him in January, just because if he's always injured, we might as well use that Saudi money to actually gain some profit from him. And the other player is Spinazzola. I've always said how Spinazzola is Spinazzola is first of all, he's not the same player, and he will never reach the same levels as he was a few years ago. He has improved. I definitely have to give him that. He has improved in these last few games. He's definitely created more impacts. He's created more chances. So I definitely have to give him that. Against Monza, in my opinion, he was one of the best on that pitch. But it is also true that he's always injured. He's yet another player who is injured most of the time. And it's not great. It's not great for your project. It's not great for your sustainability. It's not great because at the end of the day, you have a player who barely ever plays. And then this summer, you will end up breaking up with him and gaining no money from it. So if we get a when I say big offer, it can't be a big offer because his contract is about to expire, because he's not been playing well, because he's always injury prone. We can't ask a lot of money, but some money is better than no money. So if the offer comes in January, I definitely do think that Roma would definitely consider them. I'm not saying Roma will 100% sell them if the offer comes. On Spinazzola, I think if the offer comes, we're gonna sell him. On Smalling, it's more of a question. It's more of a question mark because how can you go from him being so fundamental in our system, to us losing patience with him because he's always injured. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. So we have to see if this, again, if this injury is gonna be long term, if this injury is gonna keep on persisting him or not. If I mean, another question, which if I'm Smalling, I'm gonna ask myself is, I still feel pain after almost 3 months. Why am I not considering surgery? Why am I insisting on this therapy, which clearly isn't working? Why don't I just do surgery on it and maybe potentially completely eliminate it from you? And if you completely eliminate this injury from you, my dear Chris, you could come in very handy and you could return that beast you were last season and 2 years ago. But I mean, the question here is also to you: would you sell Smalling in January? Would you sell Spinazzola in January? But apparently, it's been rumored that both players have interests from the Saudi League. Saudi League obviously has money. So again, as I said before, if Spinazzola, I agree. Smalling, I'm not sure. But if the offer comes for Spinazzola, definitely. Because we need money, and either way, we're going to deport from him at the end of the season. He's not going to extend that contract. And if he leaves, we're not going to gain anything from it. So, yes, I agree. Spinazzola should be sold. Now, obviously, very important here, you sell Spinazzola, you need a replacement. That's massively. That's as important. We cannot continue with Zalewski as our main fullback. We can't. We just can't do that. Zalewski is one of the biggest liabilities in this team. Zalewski can't defend, even if you pay him to defend. Zalewski can't mark. Zalewski can't play as a defender, and yet we are insisting in playing him as a defender. So if you sell Spinazzola, it does mean that you would weaken your fullback section a lot, and thus you need to buy a new player. And that's where the picks need to come in handy in the January window. We will not be able to buy a lot of players in January, and therefore the few players that we will buy need to be planned, need to have a sense. You know, I've said this yesterday and I've mentioned it. Marcos Leonardo, yes, he could turn out to be a gem. And we could miss out on a massive player. But ultimately, we can't spend money on a striker in January. We just can't. Because you've got Lukaku, who earns a lot of money. You've got Belotti, who earns a lot of money. And you've got Azmoun too. So we cannot be spending money on Marcos Leonardo. We need to cover more important positions. If you sell Spinazzola, you need to back it up. If you sell Smalling, you have to back it up. It needs to be, he goes out, he comes in. He goes out, he comes in. That's the strategy of the January window. We cannot be able to, I want him, because that won't happen. That won't happen. Another player which we could potentially need in January is the goalkeeper. It's a goalkeeper. It's a goalkeeper. Do we keep Rui Patricio? You see, there are a lot of questions that you ask yourself. Do we keep Rui Patricio or not? Do we keep him as a third option? Do we end his contract? Do we promote Zvilar first and shift him to second? Do we buy a completely new first goalkeeper and make Zvilar into a second one and completely forget about Rui Patricio? There are so many questions that our general director needs to ask himself. And as we said yesterday, our general director has his contract expiring in June. So to believe that our most humble Thiago Pinto, our good old friend Thiago Pinto, will be this interested in covering all of these positions when he knows he'll be leaving in June. I cannot see it happen. And that's another problem. But look, ultimately, if you ask me, do we need a new goalkeeper? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes because the sooner we get a new goalkeeper, the sooner we get a new goalkeeper, the no longer we need to focus on buying a new goalkeeper. And the sooner we get a goalkeeper, the more security we would bring to our defensive department. So, in terms of what I like as goalkeepers, I've said it already. I want Falcone or Di Gregorio or Montipo. It's a pick between 3 Italian goalkeepers I want. Right, let's read the first slot of questions. I would be so happy if we sell Spinazzola in January. Smalling, I respect he's just done fitness-wise, I think. We can get a new left-back and centre-back that is reliable in quality too. Says Eddie. Would you see Nainggolan back to us? It won't happen. It won't happen. It won't happen because, first of all, he's not the same player anymore. Nainggolan is a finished player, and I love him. He's my favourite player. But not saying that Nainggolan is a finished player is criminal. Nainggolan is done. Nainggolan is a finished player. The only reason I would hypothetically bring him back is to add layers to the mentality of this team. Do I think he'll come back? No, he won't come back because Mourinho won't take him, and even potential future managers won't take him. It's not the project this team is following. I would love to see Nainggolan back, but I also understand that it's not sustainable. It's not the project this team needs to follow. So, yeah, buying Nainggolan back, in my opinion, as much as it would be emotionally perfect, it would be a perfect end to his career, perfect recruitment, end of a fairy tale. Buying Nainggolan back, in my opinion, shows to us how weak this project is. Because if you buy Nainggolan back, it means that you've no idea what you're doing in the transfer window. And that's why I won't get him back. But I love him. And I will never, ever forget about Nainggolan. We also need to buy a brand new goalkeeper, or ours are burnt out. Who do people want as new goalkeeper? Names? Do any have names? Do any of you have names here? Like I've said, Di Gregorio or Falcone are my priorities. So yeah, who do you want as goalkeepers? Do you think that if eventually Smalling comes back, he would still be your best centre back? In the first 2 games, he wasn't good. Do you think it was due to his injury or lack of fitness, or is he just downgrading? I think it's a bit of both. I definitely think it's injury, and some of this injury definitely contributed to his poor performances. But it's also he's downgrading. I mean that's just life. He's not young anymore. His fitness is not going to be perfect. So I think it's a bit of both. The good question that you've asked is, if he's back fit, would he start? Because that's effectively the question, I think. Yes, I would start him. Let's not forget that, Smalling last season was the reason our defense was so good. Smalling last season was the reason, one of the very important reasons we got to Budapest, because our defense last season was a safe. It was impossible to score goals against us in massive encounters. 1-0 against Juventus. 0-0 against Bayer Leverkusen. 1-0 against Bayer Leverkusen. 4-1 against Feyenoord. And we conceded that goal, which almost risked our elimination from the Europa League, literally 2 minutes after Smalling got injured. Smalling is vital to this team. Smalling is fundamental to this team. But it is also true that we cannot be waiting for Smalling until we get a suntan, because we have younger defenders who want to take their chances, and we've got younger defenders who are improving week in and week out to an extent that if Smalling isn't back, they are going to be ready to take his position. And I'm looking at Ndika, I'm looking at Llorente. Our defense without Smalling has improved massively. I think Ndika and Llorente and Mancini together are also building a new bond, a new connection, an unsmalling defense. And they are learning to communicate with each other even without Smalling. But Smalling is vital. I mean, if we get Smalling back to the level he was last season, maybe we wouldn't even have conceded that goal against Inter on Sunday. But I don't know. I mean, Spinazzola's always been injury prone. Spinazzola is your best left back. If we sell him, we need two new left backs, and one needs to be ready to start. I agree. I did some research, and Smalling had tendonitis in his knee for many years, from since when he was in Man United in England. For it be bothering him this much now, it seems like he's just burnt out, done. I probably will not sell Spina in January, maybe next summer, but we literally have no one else. I mean, you're gonna have to end up leaving Spinazzola because his contract expires. So either way, he's going to leave. Spinazzola's not going to extend that contract, and it would, in my opinion, it would be criminal to extend Spinazzola's contract, especially if you want to start a new project. So his contract ends in June. He's not going to extend. Worst case scenario, he leaves as a free agent. I would sell Smalling and bring in Trevoh Chalobah in an instant. That's interesting because we're going to talk about Chalobah in a second, because again we've got some news on that too. Zale fakes football. I'd sell Smalling, not Spina. If anyone interested, have a look at Horatiu, Moldovan, 25-year-old playing for Rapid Bucharest. He's phenomenal. Thank you. We'll definitely have a look at that. Rui Patricio to the end of this season must stay, in my opinion. Maybe just switch him to second and start Villar. I think if the opportunity comes to buy a new goalkeeper in January, we have to do it. Striker is not important now. I would forget Marcos Leonardo. Left back and centre back are a priority for me. Our attack is already good. We just need to improve our quality at left back and centre back. We need another left back either way. We need a bowler like Somerville, says Nitsan. Yeah, not a bad player. I like Somerville too. Good left back for us is Hugo Bueno from Wolves. I like Falcone and Di Gregorio too. I will take Falcone. How are the lads? Hello, Jordi. Fair play and congratulations on your win yesterday against United. I want Prime Chesney. It's getting exhausting hearing Jose crying about referees every post-match, says Robin. We're going to speak about Jose's extension. I should say non-extension, because we don't have rumors that he is extending, in a second. I just want to end the transfer topics so that then we can proceed on to, new projects and if Jose will extend or not. What's your favorite Roma kit? Favorite Roma kits? This season it looks great. Another great Roma kit, in my opinion, was the one with which Totti scored that thunderbolt against Juventus in the Coppa Italia. I have that kit. It's the one with the you get it. Who would you take as new left back? As a new left back, I would take. You've got a massive pick. You've got vast opportunities of getting good players. You just need a good eye. You need a good department. For example, a player which I'd love to see as a left back is what's his name? It's the I can't get his name. look, I'm gonna mention a player. It's not him. I'm not saying him, but I'm gonna mention a player with similar characteristics to who our left fullback needs to be. It's not gonna be him because he's an unbelievable baller, and it won't be him. We don't have the money for it to be him. But we need somebody like Destiny Udogie from Spurs, Italian, played for Udinese last season. We need a fullback who is under all effects an attacking winger. And you're probably going, well, Zaleski and Spinazzola or that. Well, yes, but they can't do their job. We need somebody like, again, it'll be very easy for me to say Theo Hernandez. We need somebody like Destiny Udogie, who, under all effects as a defender, but under all effects as an attacker, attacks, threatens. That's who we want, and that's who I want, and that's what we need. Or Kolarov. You remember Kolarov? Kolarov, what an terrible attitude, but Kolarov was probably the last great fullback, the last great left fullback this team has seen since Candela retired. And I'm not even joking when I say that. Kolarov scored 1 goal every 3 games. Free kick or not free kick, Kolarov, if not a goal, he bagged the contribution every 3 games. It was his crosses, it was his free kicks, it was his passing, it was his physique. Get me somebody like Alexander Kolarov, and yeah, I would absolutely love it. Right. So let's speak about, let's end the transfer chat with Chalobah. Chalobah is another player I would love to see. I want to see a young identity in this team. I've said it many times. I want to see us investing in these players. Chalobah is very interesting. Chalobah is an incredibly interesting defender. Comes from Chelsea. They've cut him out of their project. He's been offered to a lot of various clubs around Europe. He's been offered to Dortmund. He's been offered to us. He is the perfect replacement to Smalling, for example, because you would replace somebody who's injury prone and who's almost at the end of his career with somebody who's young, who will want revenge because Chelsea have put him out of their project. We need somebody like Trevoh Chalobah. Will it be him or not will it be him? I don't care. It needs to be somebody along those lines. Young, long-term project. I have had enough of signing these short-term, injury-prone old players. And that is one of the things I want to see change. That is one of the things I want to see changed at this football club. I've had enough of buying, Eric Dyer. Oh, forget about Eric Dyer. Forget about him. Refreshen up. Rejuvenate. That's what I want to see. Robinson from Fulham and Rico Henry from Brentford, underrated. These players I want to see. I agree. I don't want to see the Mustafi. A few weeks ago, I read rumors linking Mustafi to us. Come on. I thought Mustafi retired 5 years ago. Mustafi was good under Arsene Wenger at Arsenal. The last time Wenger was Arsenal's manager, I was playing with Legos. Come on. We need to rejuvenate, and we need to get these. We need to start signing these young players. Otherwise, we will always be in this stuck position where we have plenty of injuries, where we have unfit players. It needs to happen, and it needs to happen very, very, very soon. Right. And again, this links to Thiago Pinto's contract is about to expire. We need a new general director. First of all, I want somebody who knows about Italian football. And that's very important. If we want to, if we want to start being parts of young projects, you need a general director who can do his job and who knows about Serie A football and Serie A players. If under all effects, I think our next general director needs to be an Italian general director. Because you look at our last Italian general directors and they were incredible. They were incredible. I mean, we all know who our last, maybe not our last, but our second to last Italian general director, Walter Sabatini, the master of transfer windows. Get me Sabatini. Get me Sabatini. Bring him back to Roma. The guy bought Mo Salah when he was an unknown player at Fiorentina. The guy bought Nainggolan in a January transfer window when he was unknown at Cagliari. I mean, the guy, Sabatini bought Kolarov. It's just he was so good. He was a master. He was a master in transfer windows. He knew what he was doing. He had such a good eye. I mean, look at him now. He's Salernitana's general director. Last year, he bought Boulaye Dia in a January transfer window. Like, come on, he knows what he's doing. He's got that good transfer eye. He's got a good scouting department which backs him. That's what we need. Yes, okay, Thiago Pinto has bought some interesting players, but Thiago Pinto has also bought some dustbins. Last one being Rasmus Christensen. I mean, who is Christensen? Thiago Pinto's the only one who knew about Christensen. Thiago Pinto bought Shimorodov. Thiago Pinto bought Vigna. Thiago Pinto got a lot of things wrong. We need somebody who knows how to... And, look, we're speaking about new projects, right? If we decide not to extend Thiago Pinto's contract, which I hope will be the case, we need to get a new general director in maximum by March. No more than March. Because you need to give time to a general director to plan a transfer window. You need to appoint a new general director and describe to him the project which this club is following. Directors need time. So another massive mistake that we could make is not extending Thiago Pinto's contract, arriving in May, at the end of May, Thiago Pinto leaves, and we still don't have a general director. That would be the worst position to start a new project. They need time. So, if we decide not to extend Pinto, I agree, we shouldn't, but you need to know who you're appointing very, very soon, because they need time to plan. And the more time you give them to plan, the more they will thrive. That's the way I see it. What update on Calvin Phillips? Calvin Phillips was never linked with us, mate. That was just a video of me choosing some players to potentially bring in. I agree we need young players and a good scouting which acts early on players. We really need somebody like him, big clearance incoming next season. Thiago Pinto's good at selling. 8 million for Terovic were absolutely masterclass, but he can't buy for the love of God. He can't buy, I agree. He can sell, but he can't buy. Sabatini ha preso certe cantonate, lascia perdere. So yeah, that's the... we need somebody who's got Serie A experience. That's the way I see it. Let me just... Right, if you haven't already, please smash the like button. If you've got questions in the chat, please feel free to interact. This is the live stream to do it. We're gonna go through everything. So please, please, please get your comments in the chat, your questions. Coppa Italia still again tonight. Torino 1-1 against Frosinone at halftime. Let me just. Okay. Right. So, Simo, do you think Mourinho will extend his contract with Roma? If not, who would you like as his successor? Right, that's what we. Right, let's talk about that because I know a lot of you guys are interested in this. Interested in this Mourinho contract not extending, new managers, and all of that. So we're gonna talk about this now. Let me read some comments though. Paredes is bad. Let's admit it. If he takes so long to move the ball forward, Paredes ain't Matic. But I also thought Paredes would have been a worse player. You know, Paredes has got a great touch. And the reason why we are seeing, exclude that Inter game, but the reason we are seeing Roma tend to see Roma building from the back more is because of Paredes in the middle. Because he can keep the ball and he's got a good, sense of passing the ball. So I don't think he's bad. I think he's not Matic. Matic was better, yes, but better than anything, I guess. Simo, did you see Sampa R17 in Serie B? They really had fallen down. Oh, Sampdoria. Yes, I have. It's sad. It's sad to see Sampdoria where they are. It really is. It really is. But Sampdoria were living some very complicated internal matters. Yes, they were terrible on the pitch last season, but they went through a lot of mess, financial mess. Can Roma go for Garnacho? No, mate, definitely not. Plus, why would United sell Garnacho? What your desired backline? Everyone fit. Backline, everyone fit. Smalling, Mancini, and Dika. If everyone is fully fit, if that's your question, Smalling, Mancini, and Dika. Or Smalling, Mancini, Llorente. Any updates on Pellegrini's injuries? He's still out for a while. He's probably going to be the last player who's going to come back. He's going to miss the Derby. He's going to miss Lecce on Sunday. He's going to miss Slavia Prague on Thursday. He's going to miss Lazio. He'll be back after the break. Definitely, he'll be back after the break. Yeah. Our captain is one hell of an injury-prone captain. Right. Let's speak about this. So the question was, do I think Mourinho will extend his contract? I don't think Mourinho will extend his contract. I don't think so. And to be honest with you, I'm also, it's not me saying this, it's experts, massive experts. You've got Di Marzio confirming that Mourinho won't extend his contract. Even if we get Champions League football, from what I'm gathering, it looks impossible for Mourinho's extension. And therefore you need to think about who to appoint next. It's delicate. It's not the moment to think about it. Definitely not the moment to think about it. But it's something which we will end up having to think about because it's something which is going to happen. One day in the near future or long future, Mourinho will leave and we will need a new manager. I have to be very honest here. I am very scared to see what happens when Mourinho leaves because Mourinho's left. Mourinho leaves, not has left, because he hasn't left. But Mourinho will leave a massive unity between the team and the fans. Mourinho will leave a massive sense of empathy. And most importantly, Mourinho will leave the master of communication That's what he will. That's 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 what I am very scared to see what happens. Because you see, as a post Mourinho, you cannot make the wrong decision. You cannot make the wrong decision when thinking about post Mourinho's, because you have a manager which has literally which is literally turned the perspectives of this fan base. So you cannot think. You need to think everything in the right way. Nothing can be planned badly. And when I say I'm scared, I am scared to see on the communication side what happens after Mourinho leaves. Because Mourinho is the best communicator out there. Mourinho is a master at communicating. So I want to see who we appoint to cover what Mourinho has done communication wise. That's what that's what I want to see. Because you would need to get a manager, and again, nobody will ever come close to what Mourinho does communication wise, but you would need to try and get somebody who won't feel the pressure of taking his position. And that's very complicated. That is very complicated. Again, you also need to look at the situation and you would need to ask yourself, do I change project? Do I not change project? It's such a tough decision that I wish the Fredkins all the best, because it will be a very complicated decision to decide who to appoint next, and it's one of those decisions which you can't get wrong. You cannot get wrong under any aspect, because yeah, it really is, and that's why I'm scared. Yeah, that's why. But in terms of who I want to see, I don't have names right now because Mourinho is my manager. I have one thing which I mean. Obviously, I've got time today, so I definitely will comment on this. But a lot of people out there probably watching this now think that I am Mourinho out, from the way I've been looking at post games, match reactions, and all of that. You know, what people need to understand, which is something which Mourinho fans don't understand, is that you can criticize a manager without wanting them to be sacked. That's what, that's effectively what I'm doing. I'm not Mourinho out. I know that Mourinho will most probably leave at the end of the season, but I'm the first one to say we need to keep Mourinho until the end of the season. And we'll get on to why we need to do that in a second. But the fact that I am not Mourinho out doesn't mean that I can't criticize some of his decisions. Some of his decisions lately have been terrible. And I am a real person. If you want to go and hear fake Roma stories of YouTubers, opinionists going, oh yeah, everything is good, the Inter game was a perfect game, then change channel, because that's not who I am. If there are problems at this club, I will emphasize them. And lately, under some aspects, I felt the urge to criticize some decisions. You know how I'm the first one to say we lost Sunday's game against Inter on the fullbacks. On the fullbacks. We lost that game on the fullbacks, right? Why does Mourinho go post-match interviews and blames the referee when the referee did absolutely nothing? Who put Christensen from the start? Did I put Christensen from the start? No, I didn't. Did God put Christensen from the start? No, he didn't. Christensen was picked by Mourinho. So if you lose that game because of Christensen, you can't blame the referee. It's as simple as that. It's very simple to understand. And as I just said, if you don't want to hear me criticize the Mourinho because Mourinho is the ultimate god, that's not who I am. And I'm going to say that already. I'm going to anticipate this. If we play shit games, I will criticize. I love Mourinho. I love that man. That man has given me actual goosebumps. But, another thing which I have said many times if people have gone against me is league-wise, I hope everybody agrees we've been a bang average side for the past 3 years. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I see it. Europe-wise, this team has changed drastically since Mourinho's arrival. But league-wise, has this team changed? This team hasn't changed because there hasn't been overall improvements. So I will say that. But with that being said, again, I don't want to bring this, criticizing Mourinho thing into discussion. This is not what this live stream is about. What I'm trying to say here is, I've read a lot of comments saying you can't criticize him. Of course I can criticize him. Inzaghi got criticized last season at Inter when he literally won every single trophy at Inter in past seasons. He's won a league title. He's missing the league title. He's won a Coppa Italia. He's won the Super Cup. He brought Inter to a Champions League final. And yet there were fans going Inzaghi out in March. So, that's the reality we live in. Criticisms are important. Constructive criticisms are important. And I won't refrain to criticize the team, to criticize the players, to criticize the managers if this team plays shit. I've said it after the game on Inter. If you think the game against Inter was a good game, that's not my fault. That's your fault. But with that being said, answering the question, I'm not trying to distract myself from that question. Who do I want? It depends on the project. Getting Conte would mean following the same project you've told Mourinho to follow. And I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong because Conte is another manager who demands players. Conte is another manager who demands money, who demands picks, who demands players. And with all of the sanctions that we're living in, I just can't see Conte working out for us. So look, if we get Champions League football, maybe yes, I'd consider Conte, but I want a change of project. I have a dream. I have a dream, and everybody is able to dream. Everybody has the liberty and freedom to dream. The dream manager to have after Mourinho would be, in my opinion, it would be Unai Emery. And yes, it most probably won't happen, but I would, if he wins the Conference League with Aston Villa, and he wants to leave Aston Villa on a good note, and the Fredkins come in this summer, propose him a very interesting project, I wouldn't exclude him completely cutting it off. You've got Thiago Motta, but that's a project which will take time. You've got a lot of, but I think the appointment of Jose's successor needs to be a decision. It needs to be a manager who's ready to take the challenge that he needs to do. Covering Mourinho's responsibility is not easy. So you need a manager who's ready to do that. You need a manager who feels like, yes, I can take his position. That's what we need to do. Also, for the fans, I've said it again, but if the fans go from Mourinho to Mazzarri, the fans are going to kill themselves. So you also need to maintain an enthusiastic balance. You can't go from Mourinho to Juric, Torino manager. You need somebody who can maintain the enthusiasm high, or otherwise Roma fans are going to protest. So yeah, that's it. I think it is possible for us to go to the Champions League next season because we are going better and better, but we need to replace someone for Christensen, says Diffuse. Sorry if I mispronounced that. It is impossible to find a good manager as good as Jose to come in after him. Depends on what you see it, I think. Depends on what you see it. Europe-wise, I think it's going to be very complicated. League-wise, it's not impossible. League-wise, Mourinho is very replaceable. European competition-wise, I agree. It's going to be very complicated. But league-wise, in fact, I'd probably say it is fairly easy. Sacking Mourinho is so stupid. Literally, no one could replace him at the moment. And even if I don't like him really much lately, he should leave in June. I believe he might want to achieve something else with us. It's not. I think yes, he is tempted to achieve more with us. I just don't think the Fredkins. I have this feeling the Fredkins don't want to continue with him. I feel like the Fredkins want to change want to change project. I agree. I mean, on the part keeping Jose until the end of the season, it has to happen. Changing manager now would be disastrous on the repercussions it would give, but also because who would take Roma now? Like, come on, let's be serious. Who would take Roma now? Nobody would take Roma now, and whoever would take Roma now would weaken it. We need to keep Jose until the end of the season, and then make decisions from there. But these decisions right now look like he's not going to extend. Criticize the player, then you lose the dressing room. So blaming the ref was his way of protecting Christensen from the press. Oh, I didn't say you have to. I did not say you have to blame him. You can't go. It's his fault. It's Christensen's fault. He's an absolute dickhead. Obviously, you can't do that. But sometimes Mourinho can take the blame. Sometimes he can, and he never does. I prefer to bring Maicon back from retirement and play him instead of Christensen. His only good advantage is headers, and it doesn't help as much as fullbacks. Last year, Roma underperformed their expected league position. We were supposed to finish third, but injuries and Abraham became a ghost. Mourinho is afraid of attacking against big team because he's still used to Roma being weak on the attack. If Roma win Europa, then Jose should stay league position 10. Look at the squad Aston Villa has built. Aston Villa have spent a lot of money. They have Emi Martinez, Pau Torres, Diego Carlos, Lucas Digne. Yeah. I know it's complicated, but I think if let's say he wins the Conference League, leaves Aston Villa on a massive high, brings them to Europa League. Fredkin's coming with a juicy proposal, very interesting project. He might consider it. It would be complicated, but he might consider it. The only thing that scares me after Mourinho leaves is that we might not attract top players as much, but maybe that's better for us. Look, you can build good teams without massive names as well. And that's kind of what Roma's philosophy has always been. That team which got in a Champions League semi-final in 2018 wasn't a team built of world-class players. It was a very good team, but with very realistic players. So it's not impossible. It's not impossible to create a good team. What a priority, Europa Trophy or Serie A Scudetto win? Mate, we're never going to win the league. So, you mean next season? We're never going to win the league. The priority isn't to win the league. That question should be, would you prioritize Europa League trophy or top 4 positions? I don't know. But Champions League is a must. Champions League is a must. Right. Let's do one last thing before ending this stream. Let's go through this week's prediction. Weekend's games. And I'm going to give my prediction. I'm going to record them on a piece of paper and then we can see how much I get. Bologna-Lazio, I am going to go... I'm going to go 2-1 Bologna. Bologna look incredible. I really do think they'll win. I do think they'll win. Lazio have got Feyenoord on Tuesday too, so they're going to have some rotations. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Bologna. Salernitana, Napoli. Salernitana are terrible. Rock bottom. I'm gonna go 2-0 Napoli here. No, definitely not bring back Di Francesco. I disagree. I think if Roma let Jose leave, they will have to go with another Italian manager, someone smaller than Conte, says Eddie. What are we feeling for Salernitana Napoli? It's a tough one. I think Salernitana definitely need to climb back. Napoli have got Champions League, but I think they'll win. Atalanta-Inter is the big game of this weekend. I think Inter's going to win, though. They're too good. I'm going to go 2-1 Inter. Both teams to score, but Inter to win. Milan-Udinese. 3-0 Milan. 3-0 Milan. Udinese are terrible. Udinese have no striker. They've got no striker. They look very, very weak. Did I miss some questions? Conte can build system at Roma, play style or trophy. Do you think the big names in this area like Rafa, Kvara, Osimhen, Lukaku should stay in Italy or leave to other leagues? What are your thoughts on the league's competitiveness? I think they need to stay. They need to stay because Serie A is building more attractiveness. It is a very badly organized league, but yeah, I think it's after the Premier League, it's the best one. Come on, it's better than La Liga. It's better than the Bundesliga. It's better than the French league. It's better than the I think it's second. Premier League is unbeatable though. Right, we've got Verona Monza next. Verona Monza is a tough one. Verona are living a bad moment. Monza are not living a bad moment. I think Verona are playing at home though. They were very unlucky against Juventus. I'm gonna go with a draw here. I'm gonna go 1-1. I'm gonna sit on the fence. By the way, please smash the like button. If everyone right now can smash the like button, it would be great. If you enjoyed tonight's stream, I'm going to end it in a bit. But if you enjoyed it, if you like these long streams, interactive ones, then please smash the like button. If you smash the like button, it means to me, it shows me that you like them and I should continue them. What do you think the score will be versus Lazio? We're going to get to that next week, mate. Let's do one game week at a time. Napoli to beat Atalanta, Milan to beat Udinese, Inter to beat Atalanta, Milan to beat Udinese, Roma to beat Lecce. Cagliari Genoa. Oh. Cagliari are coming from 2 consecutive injury time wins. Comebacks. Cagliari are living an incredible moment. They're going to be so excited. Home advantage. Genoa look good. Likes of Goodmanson. Retegi's injured though. Look, I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm gonna go 2-1 Cagliari. It's gonna be that comeback momentum. Roma against Lecce next. I'm gonna go 2-0. We can't lose this game. Dybala's are probably gonna start as well. Fiorentina Juventus is a tough one. It is a tough one. Juventus look great. Fiorentina are an interesting side. They're coming from 2 consecutive defeats, so they will need... this is like a derby to them. They hate each other. Look, I'm going to surprise you here. I'm going to go 2-1 Fiorentina here. They Vlahovic and Chiesa back in Florence. Fiorentina coming from 2 consecutive defeats. Good side. Unlucky defeat against Lazio in the last second with a penalty. I think Fiorentina's going to win this one. I really do. Frosinone Empoli. I'm going to go 2-0 Frosinone. They're just better. Don't know how Empoli won away at Fiorentina. And then to end the game, we've got Torino Sassuolo. I see either a game plenty of goals here or a 0-0. I'm going to go 0-0. I've said it. 0-0 between Torino and Sassuolo. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it quits. I'm calm about us. We will do well. This match day we will rise to 7th. Next match day we will rise to 5th. And then after match day 13, we will be in top 4. Everybody will be happy, says Eddie. Hopefully, mate. Hopefully. Right, I'm going to catch you tomorrow with the match preview. It's going to be shorter than this. If you don't like these long live streams, then don't worry. I'm just doing them because I'm home alone. But yeah, match preview tomorrow. Then we're playing on Sunday. Tomorrow's Friday. So yeah, enjoy your Thursday evening. Smash the like button. Please do it. If you enjoy these long live streams, then smash the like button to show me that you want them to continue. Subscribe to the channel. And yeah, talk to you soon. Hope you enjoyed tonight. I have enjoyed it. Definitely. See you.